So I'm curious, why does it feel normal in 2026 that everything a human makes online can be taken, reframed, and resold by someone else before the original creator even knows it happened? Here's the setup. In March, a creator named Lauren Blake Boltier, who has 1.6 million Instagram followers, posted a photo of herself at what looked like the Miami Open. She had a green and white tennis outfit, Louis Vuitton bag, stylish, very specific, very much what we thought to be her style. Except it wasn't. It was a photo of a model named Tatiana Elizabeth taken at the 2024 US Open, where Tatiana had been personally invited by Serena Williams. It was digitally altered so that Boltier's face sat where Tatiana's had been. Coco Gauff noticed the court was wrong while the internet noticed everything else. The post came down and Boltier eventually apologized, but there's details hidden in the story behind the story that I want to talk about. When Boltier was pressed for an explanation, she didn't say, "I took the photo." Her exact phrasing to TMZ was that it came from a, quote, AI content system my team uses to generate images at scale, close quote. So a human being with 1.6 million followers has outsourced the production of her own public life to a service that generates content at scale, which means at an industrial cadence without her personally checking what gets posted. And somewhere inside that pipeline, another woman's photograph got ingested, reshaped, renamed, and presented as hers. Not necessarily because one person woke up and decided to steal the image, but because a system running in the background treated someone else's image as available raw material. So for me, this is bigger than a scenario about two influencers. This is a signal. This is about a creative economy that has reorganized itself quietly over the last decade into a marketplace where human expression is the inventory. A feed that never stops demanding output on platforms that measure worth in volume. A business model that requires so much content so fast that the only way to keep up is to let machines produce it on your behalf, and to let those machines decide somewhere out of your sight what counts as source material. Scholar Shoshana Zuboff argues in her book, The Age of Surveillance Capitalism, that human experience has quietly been reclassified as free, raw material for someone else's profit. She was writing about data, our clicks, our locations, our attention. But the logic applies to so much more. It's no longer just our behavior that's getting harvested. It's our taste, our face, our sentences, our moments. A woman gets invited to the US Open by Serena Williams, takes a photo, posts it, and then goes on with her life. And then 2 years later, that photo is input data for somebody else's feed. And for me, the most disorienting part is how much this has been normalized. A content agency generating images at scale is a mere line item on a creator's budget. It's a category of business that exists right now in the open, servicing influencers that you probably follow. The thing that should feel strange, though, is that a person with 1.6 million followers is posting images her own team generated using systems that ingest other people's work. And all of that has quietly become the infrastructure of what it means to exist online. So where do I stand on this? I know how the creative layer of the internet has been quietly reclassified over the last decade as a kind of shared buffet. The people doing the taking almost never think of themselves as thieves. They think of themselves as curators, amplifiers, participants even. And that framing is exactly how you build a system where the original keeps getting buried under the copy until nobody remembers which one came first. So I've caught myself inside this logic too. I've seen something on a feed, screenshotted it, reposted it, and only later thought about who made it first. Not necessarily out of malice, but out of habit. That's the system working as intended. Tatiana made a public statement about Boltier's explanation with, quote, "I'm not born yesterday. To use AI, you need a prompt. In order to have a prompt, you have to have a picture," close quote. Somewhere at the start of every one of these systems is a real image made by a real person. And the marketplace that we've built depends on a very quiet agreement that nobody has to ever acknowledge it. So where I go with it is, what would it look like to be on the internet in a way that didn't assume everything was fair game for reinterpretation? I don't fully know. I'm not sure any of us do. But I think the first move is refusing to treat each of these stories as a standalone headline when they're all episodes of the same show. A show that we've been watching for a long time without ever asking who wrote it. What does it say about the marketplace we're all inside of when the freshest idea of the week from someone with 1.6 million followers is an idea that someone else already made?